The Council swore unity, until Iron Man made a secret deal that fractured everything. As trust shattered, Superman watched from above. He didn't need to attack Earth, because Tony Stark had already opened the door. The room felt colder than usual, despite the advanced temperature systems humming in the walls. Every member of the Council knew something was wrong, but no one spoke. Not at first. It was Captain America who finally broke the silence. His voice was low, calm, but carried the weight of a man who had just read the end of the world. "Tony, tell me it isn't true." Iron Man didn't look up right away. Instead, he stayed standing by the window, eyes locked on the skyline, where Kryptonian blur had been spotted just hours before. His voice was calm, too calm. "We needed a failsafe. Superman's power is increasing. His loyalty is unpredictable." Captain Marvel crossed her arms. "So you went behind all of us. Behind me, you stole Kryptonian tech and ran your own experiments." "Not stole." Tony snapped, finally turning around. "Secured, adapted, studied. There's a difference." Dr. Strange gave a bitter laugh. "And what did you learn, Stark? That you're now capable of poking the god with a stick? Brilliant." Thor slammed his hammer against the table, making the entire room shudder. "You speak of fail-safes, but all you've done is tempt fate. He'll see this as betrayal. Destruction will follow." But Tony didn't flinch. He looked each of them in the eyes, one by one. "What if I'm right? What if Superman's control slips for just a second? What if he stops seeing us as allies and starts viewing us as obstacles? We've all seen what happens when a god goes rogue." "He hasn't," Steve replied. "That's the point. He hasn't, but he could." That was the moment the divide truly began. It wasn't about what Superman might do. It was about what Tony had already done. In the shadows of Watchtower meetings and classified comms, he had built something no one else knew about: a Kryptonian AI scrambler, a red sun kinetic field generator, and one more thing, a contingency weapon, codenamed Project Redfall. Hidden in a secure vault under New York, it was designed to drain Superman's solar cells and inject synthetic kryptonite directly into his bloodstream. A non-lethal takedown, or so the file claimed. No one had approved it. No one had even known about it. Until now. Natasha Romanoff was the first to walk out. She didn't speak, didn't argue, just vanished. The meeting disintegrated. Captain Marvel left next, calling Stark's judgment arrogant and dangerous. Even Strange refused to teleport Tony back. He made him walk out. By midnight, the Avengers weren't unified. They were fractured. And Superman? He hadn't said a word. He didn't have to. Satellites had already picked up an anomaly near the moon. Something large. Something watching. And every time Superman appeared in the skies, he stayed just long enough for Stark to wonder. Does he know? He did. Superman wasn't naive. A spike in solar interference near his fortress was the first red flag. Then, a phantom frequency buzzing at 30,000 hertz, one only Kryptonian ears could hear, triggered his suspicion. He followed it back to Earth, to Stark's lab, to the vault beneath the city. And he waited for the humans to tear themselves apart. Because that was always the pattern, wasn't it? Divide, distrust, collapse. Superman didn't need to strike. Stark had already done it for him. But that didn't mean Clark Kent was calm. Inside, something shifted. Not rage, not vengeance. Something colder, something strategic. He visited Batman. In the dead of night, without a word, Superman dropped Project Redfall on the Batcave table. The entire package. The stolen tech, the recordings, the encrypted logs. All of it. Bruce read it silently, then looked up. "Why bring this to me? You're the only one who understands what comes next. War." "No," Clark said, his voice low. "Control." That's when the real moves began. Superman leaked small truths to the public. Hints, headlines, anonymous drops to journalists. Iron Man weaponized alien tech without oversight. Council member accused of unauthorized experiments. Is Earth ready for a Superman-level threat? From its own, the world turned faster than Stark ever expected. Protests, demands, shield inquiries. The council called an emergency meeting, but this time, Tony didn't show. He was too busy moving his armored bunker out of Earth orbit, somewhere Superman couldn't reach easily, or so he thought, because Superman had already been there. He didn't need brute force. He just needed time. Every system Tony trusted, already breached. Every AI protocol, already mirrored. Superman didn't destroy Redfall. He improved it, because if the council couldn't be trusted to protect the world from itself, then maybe it was time someone else did. Someone above politics, above fear, above betrayal. Iron Man had betrayed the council, but Superman was about to remind the world what real power looked like. And this time, he wouldn't ask for permission. By the time the council realized what was happening, it was already too late. Superman had never raised a fist, never issued a threat, but Earth's balance of power was already shifting, not with violence, with precision. The media framed Stark as a rogue genius who'd gone too far. Headlines spun stories of how the council had lost its grip, how Earth's protectors had secrets even from each other. Protesters stood outside Stark Tower holding signs that read, "Who watches the Avengers?" Tony tried to push back. He launched a press conference, tried to spin the narrative, said it was all precaution. We planned for Thanos. We had contingencies for Galactus. Why not Superman? But the world wasn't listening. Not anymore. Because Superman wasn't fighting Tony. He was letting Tony fight himself. Meanwhile, across the world, Superman started doing something no one expected. He pulled away from the public eye. He stopped showing up to major battles. No interviews, no meetings. He was there but distant, watching. That silence, it made people nervous. And when the world gets nervous, it looks for someone to blame. The council tried to regroup. Nick Fury returned from Deep Shadow Ops to patch things together. But mistrust had already sunk in. Captain Marvel kept her distance. Thor returned to Asgard without saying goodbye. Doctor Strange refused to rejoin. He claimed the timeline was too corrupted to stabilize. And then something happened that broke what little unity was left. One of Stark's deep space satellites, the one holding backup data of Project Redfall, self-destructed in orbit. No explosion, no debris. It simply vanished. Stark flipped. He blamed Superman, accused him on live broadcast, said the alien was turning people against Earth's only line of defense. But something was off. Superman was in Metropolis when it happened, in front of thousands, live, and the timestamp proved it. That's when Batman spoke. He released a dossier to the council, encrypted, verified. It showed that Tony had programmed a second version of Redfall, one not even his AI systems had access to, a version that would activate automatically if Superman ever came within 1,000 meters of Council HQ. It was a suicide trap, hidden in plain sight, and when confronted, Tony didn't deny it. "You still don't get it," he snapped. "He's not a man. He's a god pretending to play human. You think he's being merciful? No, he's calculating. He's waiting. And what are you doing?" Bruce asked him. "Saving the world or trying to control it?" Tony didn't answer. He didn't have to, because while the council argued, Superman made his final move. He went dark. No more tracking signals. No heat signatures. No flight paths. Superman vanished. No one knew where he was. Not the Avengers. Not the council. Not even Batman. Until one day, 19 hours after his last confirmed sighting, every major defense network on Earth powered down for 7 minutes. SHIELD helicarriers, Stark tech drones, Wakandan satellite shields, the X-Men Cerebro grid, even Atlantis perimeter walls. 7 minutes of silence. And then everything powered back on, unharmed, untouched, unmodified. But the message was clear. He could, and he didn't. Superman wasn't threatening Earth. He was showing restraint. But restraint isn't forever. Stark locked himself in his orbital lab, upgraded his armor, designed an AI override system that didn't need Earthbound servers. He was scared, not of death, but being outplayed. And he was, because power wasn't about tech anymore. It was about trust. And Tony had none left. The Council held one final meeting. Virtual, encrypted, only 5 attended. Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Bruce Wayne, Wakandan Chancellor Shuri, and Superman. He didn't use video, just his voice. Calm, collected, human. I'm not here to fight, he said. I'm here to protect. But if Earth's leadership decides that fear is the price of freedom, I'll stop protecting it. Silence followed. Then Carol asked the only question that mattered. What do you want, Clark? I want the Council to remember its mission, and I want Tony Stark removed. It was a demand without threats. Just facts. If Stark remained, Superman would leave, and the world could defend itself the next time gods or monsters arrived. Shuri was the first to agree, then Strange, then Bruce, and finally, Carol. Stark didn't wait to be removed. He left Earth, vanished into deep space, left behind Iron Legion protocols, gave control of his assets to neutral AIs, and sent one final message. If you ever need me again, don't. Earth adjusted. Superman returned. But different, distant, stronger. He began building something in orbit, not a weapon, not a fortress, a watchtower, not for the League, not for the Council, for himself, to watch the world that tried to control him, and failed, because Iron Man betrayed the Council. But it was the Council's silence that let it happen. And next time, Superman wouldn't ask for their permission at all.